Hey everybody, it's Crappie Dan. Let's talk corking for crappie and panfish. Recently I was up at Dale Hollow Lake and Sue and I were fishing a tournament up there, and we found out that these fish were down over 50 feet of water, but they were in the treetops, sitting in those treetops at 20 feet down. And those fish would not hardly bite anything that would pendulum in, swing in, swim in, drop in. You had to go to a cork in order for that bait to slowly flutter down there. So after a lot of hours of trying different things, we came up with using a fill cork, and this is a slip cork. It's a 16th ounce fill. We used 1/8 and 16th ounce fills in order to make it happen. So how do I have this all rigged up to do that? Well, the one thing I did, when fills come in the package, they have a wrap around the top of them. What it is, it's a stopper. So what you want to do is, whatever the depth is that you want to fish, you'll have to count back on your line, back to your reel, and count out. If you want to go 20 feet down, I went and counted back about 20, 20 and a half to get this fill cork back to that stopper where I wanted it to stop. We would cast this beyond the structure that we were fishing and let it drop, but we only did it barely past so we didn't spook the fish. And you can tell here it's not absolutely necessary, but I put a bead on here so when it hits the stop, it's not going to hurt the cork, it's not going to hurt the stop. The stop is nothing more than a piece of string or rubber that tightens onto your line. And what I like to do is just put this on here to keep it from fraying that line at that stopper. And then this cork will slide all the way to that stopper after you cast it out. But when you cast, it's going to cast just this much to the fish. As you can see here, I have it set to where it's just going to be no more than this to cast to the fish. So the rest of my setup is that if I'm going to go 20 feet down, I've got to add weight. So what I did was I went and got me just some regular Gremlin or some other brand clip-on weights, and I just used the amount of weight I had to have in order to get that bait down there at a slow pace to 20 feet. If you're going to fish shallow with this, go with a lighter weight on here that you see here, a pinch-on weight, and just go with a smaller one instead of a bigger one. But I kept adding weight until I figured out the drop, what I wanted it to drop. How did I tell the drop? I could tell how fast the line was coming through the cork at the place that I casted it to. So when this thing is set up, I put these clip-on weights about 8 inches from the bait I'm going to put on the bottom. Up at Dale Hollow, we went through jigs of all colors, all styles, hair, plastics, bobby garlands, itty bits. And during our stay there, they didn't want anything but minnows, meat. So what we did is we went with a very small true turn that you see here. That is one great bait. Let me put it on here where you can see it a little better. It's really a great hook. And you see here it's a very small hook. And it's a true turn. And you can see the turn in it there. So why did I do a true turn? The true turn gives me better solid hookups with the fish because it turns into the fish. We just put a very small minnow on this and let it drop down. So slip corking, this is the Pradco fill hook corks and a true turn hook from TTI Blakemore. And the setup we had was a B&M 75 anniversary rod and reel, and we used 8-pound test line. Great combination for going out corking. I'm Crappie Dan. Try this.